Dr. Orla Hardyman. Thank you so much for being here. Professor Hardyman, thank you so much for coming in, Maeve. We really do appreciate this. First, Orla, if we can talk, we've heard so much about MND. If you could just explain exactly what it is for people.
So motor neurone disease is one of the family of neurodegenerative diseases. It's a problem with the nerves in the brain and the nerves in the spine. And a motor neurone disease, the nerves from the spine going out into the muscles. And they degenerate for reasons that we don't really understand, usually beginning in the 50s or 60s, sometimes in the 70s. It's a condition that, unfortunately, we don't have a way to stop progressing. And there are many different forms, and Maeve is an example of one form. It can start in the legs, it can start in the hands, it can start in the speech, it can start in the swallow. We can't cure it, but we can certainly do a lot to help in our clinic, which Maeve attends, and with the help of the Irish Motor Neurone Disease Association. We have a big research programme going on in Ireland as well to try and help to understand the disease.
And Maeve, when did you first notice that things weren't right?
Well, it happened in my hands, and I noticed I couldn't do buttons, or the key was a problem for me in the door as well, you know. So that's when I noticed it, and I went to my doctor for a blood test for something else, and he noticed my hands and he said, "We'll send you further for this just to check it out." And that was the start of it. Now, it was 2 years before I was diagnosed with it.
Did they think it was other things along the way?
Yes, you have to get a lot of tests done. It's a part of elimination.
Okay.
There's no one test, I believe, for it. So it takes a long time to, just pinpoint it that it's motor neuron.
And in those 2 years, Maeve, I can only imagine, like, you're waiting and you think it's this, you think it's that, what it was doing to you when you got the diagnosis of motor neuron. What was that like?
Devastating. I was devastated. I was when I was told it, I thought, this is it now. What I knew very little about motor neuron, to be first of all. So I thought, I've only 2 or 3 years to live. What am I going to do? I'm in a very dark place. But I went to the clinic, Beaumont, met the professor and our team and the Irish motor neuron nurses. And it changed for me.
But you said, first of all, when you were diagnosed, that you felt, this struck me, you felt a feeling of shame.
Yes, I did. I felt I'd done something wrong, that and I lived in a little village and I wouldn't go down the village or go out to, to see. I didn't want to see anybody. But that was the initial thing. Yeah. But then with the support I got, I learned different, and I'm a different person now. I just live my life, and I have motor neuron, but it hasn't got me, and that's the way
I suppose a lot of people would know of it now because of Charlie Bird and his brave fight over the years and bringing it to the forefront of people's attention. Did you know about Charlie's condition?
Actually, at the time that I was going through my when I was going through the tests and that, Charlie Bird was forefront in the media. Yes. And when I was diagnosed, people thought I was Charlie Bird's, that I was going to the same path. And they used to say to me, "Oh, well, when are you going to lose your voice? When are you going to do this?"
Because people were seeing this.
Yes, and they thought it was only one thing. There's not just one shoe fits all.
Yes.
It's several. I'd say if there was 12 people here in the room with motor neuron, we'd all be different, wouldn't we?
That's right.
This is so interesting, and I'm sure in your head, as you said, when you found out about it, you had one vision of it. And we had Carol Liston O'Connor here last year. She's a mother of 5 who was diagnosed at 41.
Yeah.
You know Carol. Yes. So, Orla, can I talk to you about the different forms of it and how prevalent MND is? Because obviously it's hard to diagnose. There's no one test, as you said, Maeve.
I mean, Maeve's story is not unusual. The length of time it takes to diagnose is usually about 12 to 15 months by the time to come to our clinic. Maybe it might be 17 months. So it's as Maeve said, it's a diagnosis of exclusion. We make sure it's not something else that we could treat.
Yeah.
In terms of the frequency of it, it's not that different from MS in terms of the number of people per year who are diagnosed. So we see about 150 new people in Ireland per year. But of course, the life expectancy is shorter. It does shorten people's life expectancy. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that you can't have a really good quality of life, as Maeve exemplifies. You know, that what we try and explain to people, or people establish this, that, you know, they're not defined by their condition. The condition happens to affect them, but they get on with their lives, as Maeve has been doing. And then, of course, there are lots of different types, and the type that Charlie had, I looked after Charlie as well, it mainly affected his speech. So people thought, oh, well, motor neurone disease, it always affects people's speech. But it doesn't have to necessarily. There are many different subtypes of the disease, many different genes that cause the disease, many different types of disease where we can't find the genes that cause it. So it's a very complex condition, which makes it very difficult to find treatments that make it really stop.
Wow,
or stop progressing.
It's very interesting to know that. Maeve, can I ask you then, you said that going to the clinic changed everything. In what way?
Well, to be honest with you, I went into the clinic that day. I was very down, and I don't know what she said to me in the clinic, but I just came out and I thought, you know, I have this, but that's it. I'm going to live my life.
Right.
And I think anybody that's diagnosed with it should not hide away. You know, just get out, get the support from the medical team. And I got great support too from my family, I have to say.
They're here this morning, supporting you.
But as well as that, I think you need to get out and live your life.
So for you, how is that? Because again, I suppose with Charlie, it was so well publicised, and you know, we saw him with this computer. It's completely different for you. Like you've had this condition for quite a few years now. You're still speaking. You know, you came in here on your bike. So what is day-to-day life like for you? Getting around, seeing friends?
It's different. It definitely is different. There's no good in me saying it's not different. But whatever challenges, I have the scooter and I have my rollator in the house. I can use the rollator in the house, and I have a wheelchair if I need it. I use all the aids that I need. I don't shun them, you know, that, oh, I don't want to be seen in that. No, I use it. I get into my scooter and go down the street, and that's the way I am, and I'm living my life.
You use the breathing mask as well at night, don't you?
Yes, I do, and that's that's brilliant. My nippy, it's my best friend.
What's that for?
I call it a nippy.
What's
Your
that
nippy.
For?
Yes, it's called a non-invasive ventilator. So it's a mask that helps. So Maeve's breathing muscles are a little bit weak at night, and the breathing apparatus, the nippy machine, can really take the pressure off the breathing muscles at night and turns her into a new woman in the morning.
Yeah, it gives me more energy and that.
So when you wake up, you're
so
more revived.
oxygenating the blood vessels more.
Correct, getting air into the lungs.
Yeah.
Maeve, it's just so sad to think that you were ashamed to go out and do that.
I was, I was ashamed to go out.
But what were you ashamed of?
Because I felt, what did I do? Did I do something wrong to get this?
Like in your health over the years?
Did I do something wrong, or why was I cross with this? But then I looked at, I was just unfortunate.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I got from the clinic. They said, no, Maeve, you have a lot more living to do. You're healthy and well, and it's just unfortunate that I got this.
And I suppose all the local people around where you live and all that, now they see you out, so they're over chatting to you. They know, but they know about the condition. And they know about everything.
We had a fundraiser because I wanted to give something back to Irish Motor Neurone and Professor Hardiman for research, because I don't think there's enough money going to research, and I wanted to give my tuppence worth in.
That's brilliant.
But we had a fundraiser. It was a coffee morn and a draw. My family ran it for me, and we raised over 24,000.
Wow.
Now, I'm from a small community, and that's a lot.
Fair play to them. Do you want to give them a shout out? Where are you based?
Kinloch.
Kinloch.
County Leitrim.
County Leitrim.
Now, I
So
lived
fair
in
play to them.
Dromahare as well for 32 years, and they were very good to me as well.
So all from both parishes, as we
both
say.
parishes.
Both parishes.
I can't leave them out.
Orla, obviously during lockdown when the Ice Bucket Challenge was there, MND came to the fore for so many more people. But it is a disease that it's in its infancy in being sort of studied. For people who are coming to you, I imagine that the physical aspects are obviously very difficult, but the mental aspects,
Yes.
that must be a huge impediment to people.
I think, I'm not sure impediment is the right word. I think, people live and they project their future all the time. Every day we think about what we're going to do in our future. What happens with motor neurone disease is the future changes. When Maeve got her diagnosis, the prospect of what's going to happen in the future changed. And that's really scary, isn't it, Maeve?
Yes,
I mean, this idea that you're going to live out your life in a particular way, being able to walk and talk and that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we try and help to do in the clinic is to say, look, the future hasn't happened yet. You are where you are now. Let's work on, maximising what you can do. And we can help to predict things that might go wrong tomorrow or the next day. And we can intervene.
Yes.
And we should try not to project too far into the future because the future might never happen. We're in a world that's really unstable at the moment. We don't know what's going to happen to any of us. So the best thing to do is to live where we are now. And Maeve is a fantastic example of that. Not only living where we are, but doing great good around her community and positive energy and a real pleasure to be with.
Yeah.
And I think that we try and harness that in people. And of course, some people have it naturally, like Maeve does. And try and work to maximise what people can do and try and minimise this preoccupation with what you can't do. Yeah. And there's lots of tech out there. There's loads of things we can do to help people to live good and meaningful lives. And we all have a life expectancy. We all know that at some point, not too distant future or distant future, we're not going to be around anymore. Yeah. So the question is living well today. And that's what Maeve is exemplifying. She's brilliant.
And would there be just a piece of advice for anyone, Maeve?
Well, my piece of advice to anyone with motor neurone is live your life to live. Don't let it, you may have MND, as I said before, but don't let it have you. And that's the way I feel, to live your life.
You're brilliant. You're brilliant.
Thank you,
are
Professor.
brilliant.
Honestly,
you are brilliant. You're
it's
amazing.
great
You're
doing your
amazing.
thing. It's fantastic. And thank you so much for putting yourself out there like this to talk to people about this in such a positive and wonderful way.
Can I thank Maeve's parish, her two parishes, for the fantastic work they've done in supporting our research. So thank you very much. On air, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Professor Orla Hardiman, research motor neuron, and you're working with so many people, and Maeve Kilgannon. Thank you so much for coming in and talking to us today. And we are going to be continuing conversations around MND over the coming weekend. It's all ahead of the airing of Charlie Bird's documentary. It's called Ransom 79. That's happening on Monday, March 24th on Virgin Media 1 at 9 p.m. and you'll be able to donate, of course, to help with the research.
Thank you both for coming in. Let's get the morning headlines. Now we head over to the Virgin Media News Hub.
Thanks, Alan. Time for a check-in on your headlines now. And EU leaders will be taking stock of recent developments in Ukraine today when they meet in Brussels for the latest European